The Campbell family arrived at their new home. It loomed on Harbinger Lane, a street cloaked in eerie whispers and unsettling shadows. The house was ancient, with creaking floorboards and windows clouded with dust, but it was theirs. Eager to begin their new chapter, they unloaded boxes and furniture. Unbeknownst to them, a sinister secret lay in wait. The family gathered around the mysterious box. A sense of unease filled the air. What secrets did it hold? Relics of a forgotten past? Hidden truths? John, the father, cautiously lifted the heavy box onto a table. Its wooden surface was cold and damp, sending a shiver down his spine. As John struggled with the rusted lock, a sense of dread thickened the air. The family huddled closer, their breath held in anxious anticipation. A musty odor seeped from the box as it creaked open, like the groan of something ancient and disturbed. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lay a doll. The doll was eerily lifelike, almost as if it could breathe. Its porcelain skin was flawless, with rosy cheeks that seemed to hide a sinister secret beneath. The doll's eyes were shut, as if it were dreaming of something dark and forbidden. Its lips curled into a slight, knowing smile that sent chills down Emily's spine. Compelled by an unseen force, Emily reached out to touch the doll, her hand trembling. As her fingers brushed its cold cheek, the doll's eyes snapped open with a sudden haunting intensity. They were a piercing blue, like shards of ice, and seemed to pierce through Emily's very soul. A gasp escaped her lips, filled with a mix of fear and awe.
13.
Fear tightened its grip on the Campbells. The once cheerful household was now shrouded in an air of unease. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind outside seemed to carry a sinister undertone. The family could feel it, a presence that was both unseen and deeply unsettling. Strange things began to happen after the doll arrived. It was a gift, an innocent-looking doll with piercing blue eyes, but it brought with it an aura of dread. The lights would flicker without reason, and objects would move on their own. The once warm and inviting home had turned into a place of fear and suspicion. Whispers seemed to emanate from the attic, faint and chilling. At first they were barely audible, like the distant murmur of a conversation. But as days passed, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if they were calling out to someone. The attic, once a place for storage, had become a source of terror. Shadows danced in the corners of their eyes. They would catch glimpses of movement, dark shapes flitting just out of sight. It was as if the shadows had a life of their own, mocking the family's growing fear. The Campbells tried to rationalize it, but the sense of being watched was inescapable. John dismissed them as tricks of the light, but deep down unease gnawed at him. He was a man of reason, not easily swayed by superstition. Yet the inexplicable events were wearing down his skepticism. He found himself waking up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, convinced that something was terribly wrong. One night, Emily awoke to a cold presence in her room. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, and she could see her breath in the dim light. Her heart raced as she scanned the room, searching for the source of the cold. It felt as though an invisible hand was gripping her, holding her in place. She felt a weight on the end of her bed, as though someone was sitting there watching her. The mattress dipped slightly, and she could hear the faint creak of the bed frame. Emily's eyes widened in terror as she slowly turned her gaze towards the foot of the bed, dreading what she might see. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw the doll. It was sitting there, motionless, yet its presence was overwhelmingly sinister. The doll's blue eyes seemed to glow with an inner light, piercing through the darkness and into Emily's soul. She wanted to scream, but her voice was caught in her throat. It was sitting on her bedside table, its blue eyes gleaming menacingly in the darkness. The doll seemed to be watching her, its expression unchanging yet filled with malice. Emily knew then that the doll was not just a toy. It was something far more sinister, something that had brought a dark force into their home. Green smile seemed to observe their every move. It was as if the doll was a conduit for the entity, a silent witness to their torment. The Campbell family knew they had to find a way to end this nightmare, but the path to peace was shrouded in darkness. prison of fear and despair. The whispers grew louder, the shadows darker, as the family realized that they were not alone. They were being watched, hunted by an unseen force that thrived on their fear. The whispers and shadows were no longer just figments of their imagination. They were real, and they were closing in. John, desperate to protect his family, tried to get rid of the doll. He tossed it in the garbage, but it reappeared in the attic, eerily perched on Emily's bed. He tried to burn it, but the flames recoiled, as if repelled by an unseen force protecting the doll. The doll seemed to pulse with a dark aura, a vessel for something malevolent that refused to release its grip. Each attempt to banish the doll only deepened its sinister hold on the family, tightening the invisible chains of dread that ensnared them. The Campbells were ensnared in a web of terror. The Campbell family felt the doll's sinister grip tighten. Their once joyful home had become a shadowy prison. Emily's nights were haunted by relentless nightmares, the doll's icy blue eyes searing into her soul. John and Mary, their faces drawn with fear and fatigue, were on the brink of despair. The doll's presence was suffocating, like a malevolent fog creeping into every corner of their lives, draining the joy from their hearts. They were ensnared in a web of dread, each tick of the clock echoing the impending doom that loomed over them. The Campbell family was forever altered. The curse of the haunted doll etched a dark mark on their souls. They fled from Harbinger Lane, but the darkness pursued them. The whispers, the shadows, the doll's piercing blue eyes, these were nightmares that would never fade. The doll stood as a grim reminder that some secrets should remain buried, locked away in the shadows, eternally forsaken.